Yo, what is going on, guys? Got a BT6 gameplay video for you guys featuring a deck I am looking forward to playing so much. This is Three Musketeers, and I built it in a very interesting way, as you will see. I am playing against a kind of red, like, Greymon deck, but you'll see it's not pure red, thanks to some of the newer support cards, like kind of red-black is getting in the BT6 Double Diamond set. So my opponent went over there, he set up the Agumon along with the Marcus Damon, and you're seeing I'm playing a very multicolored deck. So you see the yellow Digiegg, I play the Izzy and Joe Tamer card, which basically lets me get a +2 memory every single turn if my opponent has 2 or more Digimon, and then I play the Deputymon, which is a very, very powerful support card for the Three Musketeer Digimon. Basically, on play, he lets you add a Three Musketeers Digimon, as well as a 7-cost option card, and then during your turn, you can warp him straight into a Three Musketeer for a memory cost of 6. My opponent is going to go ahead and Digivolve into BT5 Greymon for a memory cost of effectively 1. It's a 2, but then you gain 1 memory because he Digivolve on top of an Agumon, and then he's going to play another copy of Marcus, and then to end off his turn, he's going to play a copy of BT5 Agumon, which lets you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and then add a Greymon as well as a Omnimon. So you see there, he reveals the War Greymon, that is the BT2 Black War Greymon, not Black War Greymon, but the Black War Greymon. You guys know what I mean. Anyways, so he's playing a very interesting multicolor deck. So you see down at the bottom, I've got a myriad of cards in my hands. I've got Wyvern's Breath, I've got Lucemon, I've got Fly Bullet, so lots of very powerful new option cards. Wyvern's Breath gives one of my opponent's Digimon minus 15,000, which is crazy, and since I am playing like a yellow base, I'm playing yellow Digieggs, so I can activate that at any time. I'm just going to go ahead and throw down another copy of Deputymon, this time going +2, adding the Fly Bullet as well as the Bellstarmon. Bellstarmon is, in my opinion, the best of the Three Musketeers. You get to play her and add a 7-cost option card from your trash to your hand, and then you can activate any card in your hand that is a 7-cost option card. So it doesn't actually have to be the one you just added, but a lot of times it is. The recyclability is good, and not only that, but she is a 12-cost at face value, but a lot of the times because of her effect, you can reduce that cost by a couple because you reduce it for 1 of each Three Musketeers and 7-cost option card in your trash. So that is a really, really powerful effect. I think the cheapest Bellstarmon I've ever got was like a 4 or 5 cost. So late game, it can be pretty good, making this deck have a very good grind game. Now my opponent is going to go ahead, attack with the Greymon, which is not super ideal, but he is at, I believe, 6,000 because the +2,000 from the promo Agumon. He's going to draw a card off the Koromon and then gain 2 memory from each of the Marcuses there, and then he's going to survive because Deputymon was only 4,000. So this is kind of a security control deck, but unfortunately, security was just not like as stacked. Ideally, you'd want to have a lot of option cards in there, but you saw that Deputymon. Now he's going to hard play the War Greymon for a memory cost of, I believe, 12, and then I'm going to start my turn off by gaining 2 memory off of the Izzy and the Joe. I think that is one of the best double teamers coming out of BT6. I just absolutely love it, just because your opponent only needs to have 2 or more Digimon, and then you gain +2 memory. So I'm going to go ahead, activate Fly Bullet, because I do actually have a black Gatomon, which is a purple Digimon, so I can activate the Fly Bullet for a cost of 7, deleting one of my opponent's level 6 or lower. Then I'm going to trigger the Reinforced Memory Boost, revealing 2 cards in my deck, and then adding one of those to my hand and putting one of them on top of security. So I'm going to put the other copy of Reinforcement Memory Boost on my security, because that way when my opponent attacks into security, I can play it for free, and then I'll be able to gain 3 memory the following turn. That security effect is ridiculous. So my opponent is just going to attack again with his Greymon, again suspending the 2 Marcuses to gain 2 memory, which I think is pretty crazy that he's been able to pull this off twice. Unfortunately, I don't really have anything strong enough at the moment to beat over that Greymon right there. Deputymon's only 4,000, and so is a black Gatomon, only 4,000 DP there. So he's going to go ahead and attack, and he did bring out his Agumon, and then we are going to see round 2, another copy of War Greymon played for 12 memory. So let's see if I can do anything about that. I'm going to go to 6 because of Izzy and Joe. I'm going to Digivolve into the Salamon. So now that I have the Salamon in play, I will be able to recover 1 if my opponent ends up attacking. And next turn, you see I have the Happy Bullet showering there, which deletes all my opponent's Digimon with the lowest play cost, but I cannot activate it at the moment because I do not have a Three Musketeers Digimon, nor do I have a red like Digimon or Tamer card on my side of the field, so I can't use that just yet. I'm going to go ahead play the Reinforced Memory Boost, gaining 3 memory off of that effect, and then I think what I'm going to do here is probably get rid of the War Greymon once again. So there we see another copy of Fly Bullet Throwdown for a memory cost of 7, deleting the War Greymon, and I still can't beat over the regular Greymon there, but I think what I should do is maybe go ahead and play Bellstarmon, or go ahead and go into Lucemon as well. At this point, I'm not sure if I do have more than 10 cards in my trash, so right now I'm going to go ahead and play the Bellstarmon, who is a 12 cost, but because I do have 2 Fly Bullets in my trash, she's going to be a 10 cost, putting my opponent to 8, and then on play I get to return one 7 cost option card to my hand, and then play another 7 cost option card from my hand onto the field. And because I have 3 Musketeers, I can ignore the color requirements of the Happy Bullet Showering, deleting both of my opponent's Agumon. So that was a pretty solid play, being able to get 2 Digimon out of the way and establishing my own powerful level 6 on the field. I just absolutely love Bellstarmon. I think she is such a cool card. So my opponent is going to go ahead and attack a 3rd time with the Greymon. No fear, he doesn't even care if it dies. Gain 2 memory off of the off of the Marcus there. But then finally, Greymon is going to be put in his place, running into Bellstarmon in security, leaving me with only 3 security, but I do have 5 Digimon in play. So hopefully I'll be able to do something next turn. Now my opponent doesn't actually have anything in the breeding area at the moment, and I'm going to see it first. We are going to see an Omnimon Zwart defeat played for 15 from my opponent's hand. Like, I don't know what his hand was. It must have been some crazy break, because we saw 2 War Greymons played, we saw Zwart defeat played for 15. He doesn't even get the on Digivolve effect, but he will get the on delete effect if I actually end up getting rid of his Zwart, which is who has an on delete effect of just delete one of your opponent's Digimon. So it's pretty solid. I'm going to swing security with the Salamon, not drawing a card off the Cupimon, but I do get to recover +1, and then I'm just going to swing security. We see a black War Greymon there, so he's playing all the Greymons. So I ran into that with the Bellstarmon. Unfortunately, both of them clash at 11,000, and with only 3 security left, all I really need to do is just set up maybe 1 or 2 more Digimon here, and luckily, I do have the appropriate amount of cards in trash. So you see the Lucemon in hand there. I can play Lucemon for a 5 cost if I choose to do so. I was thinking of getting rid of the Reinforced Memory Boost, but that would neg me 1 memory technically, because if I did that, I'd go to 8, and then what I'm going to do here is play 2 Lucemon, so then that would put my opponent at 2, but then he's going to gain 1 memory anyway, so I'm like, might as well put him to 5, play 2 copies of Lucemon, and go to 6 security. So I'm not in jeopardy of losing whatsoever, and you'll see that my opponent is now the one who is about to lose, because now I have 5 Digimon in play. He's only got 3 security. He's going to run into another copy of Reinforced Memory Boost off of security. So that's just crazy to me. I'm going to be able to gain 6 memory if I so choose to the following turn, and then he's just going to play a Monochromon for 6 memory. Now, here I do gain 2 memory off the Izzy and Joe, but I have enough damage on board unless we see anything crazy in security, so I just didn't even feel like I needed to do that. So we're just going to see my Lucemon's attack, and then after one of them dies, we are going to see the Depumon attack, and then I believe I will be able to go for game, even though he does have 1 blocker here. He's going to block, and then my guy dies, and then I'm just going to be able to swing for the last security and swing for game. So that's going to be game 1. Game 2, my opponent is going to start hatching the Koromon. I really like that Koromon. That's the BT5 one, and there is also a really sick alternate art for that we're getting, hopefully somewhat soon in the TCG, but I believe that sometime after BT6 comes out. So my opponent is going to Digivolve into the promo Agumon, and then going into starter deck Greymon, setting himself up with the security attack +1. So that could be kind of scary, provided he doesn't hit anything like crazy in my security, which there's a lot of crazy option cards in my security. So I'm just going to go ahead and Digivolve into the Salamon, and then play the Izzy and Joe. So if he does commit to the board a little bit more, I'll be able to start my turn with 3, so, or at least gain 2 memory, so at least 3, right? So my opponent is going to play the Nokia, and amazing enough, he is going to play the BT5 Agumon. That's like the craziest combo, right? You can play Nokia and then play Agumon and then get another plus off the Agumon, but luckily he didn't get any pluses off of that, but still solid value regardless. I'm going to start with 3 because of Izzy Joe. I'm going to swing security just to get a draw off of the Cupimon there and then run into a War Greymon and security, but it's not going to be kind of like, I don't really care if my Salamon dies. I'm just going to probably play a Deputymon at this point because I don't have too many offensive cards in my hand right now, so I really need some option cards and really need some 3 Musketeer cards. So I'm going to add the Fly Bullet once again and then trash the remaining cards, leaving my opponent with 2 memories. So he's going to flip over the Koromon, and then hopefully this time he has a better hand than last time. He's going to Digivolve the Greymon for an effective 0 cost because he's going to Digivolve it for 1, since the Nokia lets him suspend her and then gain reduce that cost by 1, and then Greymon gives him 1 extra memory, so effectively making him a 0 cost in that situation. Digivolving the BT5 Agumon and then playing a Marcus, leaving me with 2. So then now my opponent is guaranteed 3 memory every single turn. I'm going to gain 2 memory because of Izzy Joe and starting my turn with 4. I do hatch the Cupimon, but unfortunately do not have anything to Digivolve over it. I'm just going to play another copy of my Dual Tamer and then play another copy of Deputymon, and here we go. There's the Bellstarmon and there is the Gewalt Schwarmer. I believe that's how you say that card. And then I'm just going to trash the rest. So now I'm set up with a pretty decent hand. So now I can activate some option cards hopefully and then get them back with Bellstarmon. I've got 1 of each of the 3 Musketeers option cards. We've got Happy Bullet Showering, Fly Bullet, and Gewalt Schwarmer all in my hand. And then somehow if I do go down a couple security, I do also have the 2 copies of Magnadramon. So then we're going to see, I believe that's Megadramon, who is the ultimate there, treated as a black and red Digimon, so he can go ahead and Digivolve into War Greymon, reducing the cost by 1. He's also gaining 4,000 right now, 2,000 from the Megadramon, 2,000 from the Agumon, putting him at 15,000 security attack plus 1. He's going to gain a memory off of the Marcus and draw a card off of the Koromon. So that is a crazy combo actually. I think that's really cool, being able to now mix more consistently than before. Mix the black and red Greymon cards there, because there are some Greymons that are printed in black, but being able to take full advantage of them in the red color. So then now my opponent is going to go again into the BT5 Greymon, Digivolving for 2 and then gaining 1 memory, so making him a 1 cost, and then playing another copy of Nokia Shiramine from his hand, and then playing in BT5 Agumon. Off of that, of course, whiffing off of that because he's literally whiffed every single Agumon in this game. I feel for him. But anyways, so he's got 4 Digimon on field. I'm going to gain 4 memory from both copies of Izzy and Joe, which is pretty sweet. Now, Izzy Joe also does have a secondary effect, by the way, which you'll see here in a second. I actually didn't choose to activate it based on this situation. What it lets you do is whenever one of your black Digimon is deleted, you can suspend the Tamer card to draw 1 card. Now, I didn't choose to do that here. You'll see I'm going to attack with my Deputymons in a second, mainly because you kind of don't want, like, I have enough cards in my hand, right? I would rather have cards in my security, like playing something like Magnadramon or Lucamon, to get the option cards in security versus in my hand. So you could argue that this was a misplay, but I just didn't feel like I needed to draw cards, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and attack, and he's going to block with his War Greymon, which did have reboot, by the way, so it restands, and then he's going to block my first one. He's going to kill my second one because I ran into a Victory Greymon in security. I was doing that because I believe at the time I had 9 cards in trash, so I wanted 10 so that I could play Lucamon for a 5 cost. I'm going to go ahead and play him for 5, and then I'm going to go Bellstarmon, who would usually be a 12 cost, but right now she is an 11 cost because I do have the Magna Kidmon in my trash, so leaving my opponent with 9, and then I'm going to be able to add a 7 cost option card, don't have one at the moment, and then play 7 cost option cards. So that lets me play Gewalt Schwarmer, which deletes everything on the field with a play cost of 7 or lower, so that is everything on my opponent's field aside from that War Greymon there, so leaving my opponent with just 1 Digimon left in play versus my 2. So I was able to clear 3 Digimon off the field, which I think is pretty good value. So then now my opponent is going to start unsuspend all of his stuff, Digivolve into the promo Agumon once again, which I still think is super sweet that you can boost War Greymon to such a high DP, because something like promo Agumon gives him plus 2,000. Going to suspend the Marcus, and he's going to check 2 security cards unfortunately, both of them were Digimon. Don't want to, like, I really want to see option cards in my security, not Digimon. I want to see that Salamon and that Lucamon that should have been in my hand, but I digress. So he's going to be able to attack and hit those two security cards, and I think here I really need to. Well, first of all, it could go either way because my opponent has 3 security and I have 2 security. He's got 2 Digimon in play. I've got 2 Digimon in play. I need to establish at least 2 more Digimon to be able to go for a game. But what he's going to do is just play the Gigadramon for a 6 memory cost, which is an ultimate Digivolve into Victory Greymon for a cost of 2 by suspending both copies of Nokia. And I don't really like where this is going, but he is after that going to go ahead and will we see a level 7? What could he go into? He could go into Ultras, he could go into BT1 Omnimon, he could go into BT5 Omnimon, but he's going to go Monochromon first. Digivolve that for 1, leaving him with 1 memory. And then he's going to go ahead and Digivolve Omnimon's Zwart Defeat. We saw that last game when he hard played it for 15, but now he's going to actually Digivolve it and delete one of my Izzy and Joes, which is a pretty sweet effect. And then if I manage to get rid of him, he will, delete one of my Digimon. So I'm still going to be able to gain 2 memory, not 4, unfortunately. But starting my turn with 4, but with only 2 security, and my opponent has 3 Digimon in play. I really need to do something. Luckily, I do have the Magnadramons, so I'm thinking here I should just go Magnadramon. I guess I can attack. Yeah, so I'll attack first because I don't really care if my Bellstarmon or my Lucamon dies because they're not doing anything. I'm not going to Digivolve them or anything like that. So both of them actually survive, which is crazy. I didn't expect that. Didn't really need that, but it's going to be pretty sweet. And then I think here, unfortunately, I don't have enough to play like the Happy Bullet Showering or the Fly Bullet there, but I don't want to get rid of the Zwart Defeat because then he'll just kill one of my Digimon, which I guess is fine. I'd be saving myself 2 security. So I think either Dynasmon or Magnadramon would be the best move here. I'm going to go Magnadramon, recovery +2, and then leaving my opponent with 7, all the while establishing myself with 3 Digimon on field. So he's going to need to kill both the Lucamon and the Bellstarmon if he wants to survive next turn, which he's going to do. So he's going to swing over the Bellstarmon with the Omnimon and the Lucamon with the Victory Greymon, and he has a blocker on field, so he was able to kind of come back from that. That's pretty good. So he is going to, after that, just play a copy of the, I think that's the Gallantmon starter deck Agumon. That's really hard to say, but anyway, starter deck Agumon. So he plays it, and then he's going to Digivolve into Monochromon, so he's got double blockers on the field. And lastly, he is just going to play a Gigadramon, leaving me with 3 memories. So it seems like there's nothing I can do. It seems like my back is against the wall. My opponent has 5 Digimon. All I have is a single Magnadramon. He's got double blockers. He's got a powerful level 7, and what exactly can I do here? So you see I've got the Happy Bullet Showering in my hand, but no way to currently activate it because I don't have a red Digimon on field, but I can just play Bellstarmon straight from hand because I've got 3 option cards with costs of 7 and or 3 Musketeers in my trash. I'm going to play her for a 9 cost and then adding the Gewalt Schwarmer back to my hand, and wouldn't you know it, everything on the field aside from his 2 most powerful Digimon have a play cost of 6. So I'm going to be able to just play that and delete all of those Digimon, so save myself 3 security checks and establish a Bellstarmon on field. So again, now I have lethal once more, and my opponent does not have enough Digimon on field to delete the rest of my security, get rid of the rest of my security, and finish the game off. So you can see the grind game of this deck is just so crazy, and just from 1 Bellstarmon, just 1 Mega played from my hand, I can completely flip the tides of the game, and you're going to see a Wyvern's Breath and security. Now, I was heavily debating here, should I take out the Zwart Defeat, because he is actually, I believe, at 15,000 exactly, because he's got the Megadramon. He's also going to check 2 cards. However, if I do delete him, his effect is then going to trigger, and then it would delete one of my Digimon, and then I wouldn't have lethal on board for next turn. So I gambled on this and thought, okay, I'm going to get rid of his Victory Greymon because he's already gone through 2 blockers for sure. I don't, it's a little bit unlikely that he'll have another one to play from his hand, and even if he does, he'll have to sacrifice it, and then I also have Magnadramon that I can play the following turn if if need be. But he's just going to play a Nokia and then an Agumon to end off his turn, and I'm going to start my turn with 3 memory technically because I do have the Izzy and Joe, but it's not going to matter because I'm just going to swing with the Bellstarmon, reveal War Greymon, they're going to die, but then I can just attack with Magnadramon for games. So guys, that is going to be the video. If you did enjoy, go ahead and let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.